Okay, it looks like we have a good quorum of attendees this morning, so we'll go ahead and get started. Once again, thank you all so much for joining us. My name is Elisa Maloney. I'm the Senior Director of Marketing here at floLIVE, and I'm happy to introduce our two speakers today. We have Curtis Govan, the President of the Americas at floLIVE. He is an accomplished leader with 25 years of broad experience and expertise in technology leadership, business development, and sales. He was most recently the GM and Global VP Dealer and Heavy Equipment for Uptake, an industry leader in industrial and artificial intelligence and IoT. Prior to joining Uptake, Curtis spent almost 12 years with Cisco Jasper, where he held several roles, with the most recent being Head of Global Sales, Business Development, and Regional Managing Director for Canada. Thank you so much for joining us today, Curtis.
Thank you, Lisa. Glad to be here.
Great. And I also want to take a moment to introduce Andre Martins, the CEO of NLT Telecom. With over 20 years of experience, he's a strong entrepreneur and has led technology and telecommunications startup to success, as well as planning and implementing operational and commercial areas for these companies. He has directed the development of distance training tools, incentive campaigns, funding rounds, and produced numerous successful business plans throughout his career. Thank you for joining us today, Andre.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you. Okay, great. So to get us started, I'm going to go ahead and launch a quick poll as Curtis advances us to the agenda slide for today. And we'll take a moment to, here we go. Take a moment to answer this poll question, if you could, please. Do you have plans to expand your current business into Brazil? And we'll let everybody take a moment for that. And as we go through this webinar today, we'll talk about the Brazilian market landscape, and the IoT deployment challenge, some keys to success. And at the end, we will take time for some questions and answers. So please utilize your Q&A option in the chat to submit those questions to me, and we'll go through them. If we run out of time, we'll follow up directly afterwards. Okay, it looks like we've got a lot of good feedback, so we'll go ahead and publish this so you can see what we're looking at. Is this what you would expect, Curtis and Andre?
Definitely what I'd expect. It seems that we have quite a few, overwhelmingly, that are looking to do some business in Brazil. So excellent.
All right, well, I will stop sharing and let you all proceed. Thank you.
Okay. Before we get into the first slide introducing floLIVE, I just wanted to acknowledge that we do have, as a UK-based company with operations in Israel, as well as some R&D. Certainly our hearts are heavy with Israel at this time. It's an extremely difficult and sad time that we're dealing with now. But I will say, as a company, that we are committed to maintaining our reliable global network that we provide there. We're continuing to support all of our clients, our partners, and our colleagues. While our hearts are certainly heavy, and our prayers are for the safety and well-being of the Israeli community, we are continuing to move forward, if you will. Certainly difficult times. And I would say, just as I close there, thank you to all of our partners and colleagues that have reached out to share your support. We certainly appreciate that. A little bit about floLIVE. We are, as I mentioned, a UK company there. We're an IoT software as a service company. And what you see here is the various SaaS products that we offer here. I will note here that everything that you're seeing was developed by floLIVE Engineering. We own the code, we built it, deployed it from the beginning to the end, starting with our core network as a service there that we offer for MVNOs and MNOs there. Our partner here, NLT, will share some details of how we're working together with them there. We also have a real-time billing solution that we provide as well. and then a patented SIM management component that combines both the multi-IMSI technology with the EUICC technology to give our customers best of both scenarios there with that solution. And then we have our connectivity management platform. That's a well-recognized industry-leading solution that we offer that provides real-time access to monitor and control the services, but also real-time for billing, real-time for the core network logs that are providing. So every event that's happening within the system is provided in our connectivity management platform. In addition to that, it's a multi-tiered solution there. So everything you can do on tier 1, you can do that all the way down 3 tiers below where each of our customers are. And then also, as I mentioned, we have our EUICC remote SIM provisioning solution that we offer there that is the combination of the SIM management piece that we have and the standard EUICC. So very robust set of solutions that we have throughout. What we do with this is we combine all of the technology here to provide what we call a hyperlocal global connectivity solution there. What this means is that for many operators around the world, 20 plus that we're integrated with, 12 that we offer through the FlowNet solution, we are deeply integrated from our network, our core network, to their core network to provide that robust service that is literally the same around the world. So you take the one SIM that we have, one network interface that we have through our connectivity management platform, and customers are able to have a continuity of service around the world in literally every country in the world. In addition to that, they're able to have that service across multiple operators in each country. It's the best solution that you can imagine for customers that have global deployments, and even customers that have just local deployments there that need multiple network operators to support their services there. I will note here, just as you see to the right, the extension of this that's coming at the beginning of next year is the non-terrestrial network that is provided through the Release 17 spec there. So now we're combining NB-IoT over satellite with the rest cellular component there. So literally, not only will you have service in multiple areas and multiple operators for an individual country, now we're looking at closing the gaps of coverage there with the NTN solution there. That's a satellite-based solution. Who do we provide our service to? We have literally all of the technology that you see below. We have it for MNOs that buy our connectivity management platform that comes with our core network. Then we have mobile operators that will buy both our connectivity and our core network platform, and then IoT MVNOs, such as our partners here, NLT, will buy the combined solution there as a connectivity management platform, along with the core network that allows them the freedom to really manage their business autonomously themselves. And then also we have global enterprise customers that we provide services to. You may have noted a few weeks ago, we announced our partnership with Qualcomm Aware Cloud. That's an example of our global enterprise customers that we're providing the service to. So really the full gamut of customers of the ecosystem that we're providing the various services to, that really gives them the autonomy to manage their business on a global scale. With that, I'll pass it over to you, Andre.
Thank you, Curtis. Well, NLT is a full MVNO in Brazil. We work using agreement with Telefônica Brasil, formerly Vivo. So we have the first radio access network that we're exploring today is from Telefônica Brasil. Of course, we understand on IoT connectivity layer, one network is not enough. So we also have an agreement with Datorá that uses the radio access network from TIM, MNO from Brazil. So we have these two radio access network available to IoT connectivity. Also looking for another kind of connectivity, we have an agreement with American Tower of Brazil to explore LoRaWAN connectivity as well. So we are the first cross connectivity operator in Brazil using LoRaWAN connectivity, a public LoRaWAN connectivity, and also 2 mobile networks in Brazil. We started the operation of the NLT 4 years ago, so we are right now the second biggest MVNO from the IoT cellular connectivity in Brazil. We are reaching almost 800,000 active connectivity on cellular connectivity layer and 200,000 connectivity on LoRaWAN connectivity layer. So we are almost reaching 1 million connected devices until maybe the end of this month or maybe the next month. Also, we are exploring right now some mobile private networks. We know Brazil is a continental country, so it's very big. So to explore the agribusiness in Brazil that respond for 1/3 of the GDP of the country, we must explore some mobile private network to reach this vertical, and of course to bring IoT to the fields. So that's a wrap up of NLT at a glance. And talk about some global please, yes, some just to have a recap about IoT in the world. We reached 2.7 billion devices connected last year, and we are expecting to reach 5.5 billion IoT cellular connectivity in the world. So if you can see that in 5 years, we are reaching almost 50% of the equivalent of human connectivity mobile on the world. If you go to next slide, Curtis, please, we can see that in Brazil, we have a very low comparing to the global average. Just to give you some shots, in Brazil today, we have only 41 million IoT cellular connectivity available. Comparing to the global average, we are very lower to the global average. So we have some potential IoT market in Brazil. For example, of course, the first one vertical that we are exploring for 15 years is the tracking vehicles. Today we have 115 million vehicles in Brazil. We have only 25 million vehicles connected today, so we have a lot of work to do, not only to connect the vehicles, but also to bring telemetry to some vehicles like this. We also have a second vertical, very explored in Brazil, is the payment machines. We have almost 15 million payment machines connected to IoT cellular connectivity layer. We are growing very fast in this vertical. We have a lot of new establishments right now open in Brazil after the pandemic, and we are expecting to double this number in a couple of years. And also we have the third vertical is very important for us because it's a brand new market for Brazilians, is the utilities and public lighting. So we are experiencing right now a very big number of new connectivity devices for utilities, for example, smart metering for gas, for water, and even for electricity. The public lighting is becoming a very interesting business because we are connecting the public lighting poles for using equipment connecting using or LoRaWAN or NB-IoT connectivity. NB-IoT connectivity is becoming very popular here in Brazil because the prices is going down. And of course, we have a big market to explore. It's like a green ocean. It's the agribusiness. We have more than 5 million units, rural properties, producing right now. And we know very well that Brazil is the leader of some cultives like cotton, soy, corn, and even meat. So if you are the leader of these markets, not using IoT in the fields, just imagine what we can do bringing IoT connectivity to the fields. So that's a snapshot of the potential IoT market in Brazil. And that's some numbers of the IoT cellular connectivity in Brazil. So you can see on the left corner, we are growing about 30% a year. Of course, we have the pandemic in 2019 to 2020 and 20 to 21. And the last year, 2022, we have a low growing of the market, most of the write-off of the MNOs, but we were expecting something about 25%. This year, for sure, we will reach something about 20% of growing of this market. On the right corner, you can see the market share of the companies. So we have 3 MNOs in Brazil: Vivo, Telefônica Brasil, Claro, and TIM. The leader is the Vivo with 37.7%. Claro is the second one. TIM is the third one. Algar is the fourth one. Algar is like a regional MNO. It's the unique MNO. It's not nationwide. And other 7.9% is the MVNOs. So we have Datora Arkia. It's a 13 years company. Arkia, actually, the Datora has 30 years company. But NLT has already 1.5% of market share. I mean, the Brazilian IoT connectivity cellular market share in just 4 years. So it's an amazing number. And we have 2 other MVNOs, Surf and TeleExperts, Telecom, for NLT. So the NLT is the only one MVNO exploring only IoT connectivity. All other ones, they are all exploring voice, data, and IoT. And below you can see the growing rates of NLT. So we are growing almost 100% a year because the market of IoT in Brazil is very, very big to explore. And just some points to explain this growing of NLT in the last 4 years. We have some points of interest from the company. For example, we born oriented to APIs. So we have different business model for IoT connectivity comparing to the traditional MNOs, MVNOs, and also we are born using APIs since the beginning. So yes, Kurt, please.
Yeah.
Talk about the radio access network, just to finish my presentation about NLT. So we have the first radio access network is from Telefônica Brasil, formerly Vivo, as I said before. The second one is from Arkia using TIM radio access network. We have a global coverage with our friends from floLIVE, and we have some mobile private networks in Brazil, not only in agriculture, but also in industry. So we have all the technologies from mobile. We have LTE, LTE Plus, we have 5G, we have NB, LTE, 2G, 3G, and also we have LoRaWAN connectivity. We are using today American Tower public network for LoRaWAN connectivity. It's the second biggest public network from the world. The first one is from India. We also have some private networks for LoRaWAN, and of course we also have some extended networks using American Tower connectivity.
Excellent. Great, Andres. Thank you for that. I think it's the one thing that's clear that everyone to realize is that there's a great market opportunity in Brazil. Something that I've known for quite a while. And the thing that I think that's most exciting about what we're doing and what you shared there is the fact that the numbers are below the global averages. So there's even, I think globally there's opportunity, but particularly in Brazil, there's more opportunity because the numbers are below the percentages that we see throughout the rest of the world. So very good, very good. As we move into the next session, we'll talk about some of the challenges, and I'll say a lot of this is driven by our perspective, Andre. So I'm looking forward to hearing kind of your perspective on what these challenges are, and then we'll get into how we actually resolve that. But the first thing we look at when we look at Brazilian deployments there, people that need to be permanently in Brazil with deployments, not just coming in and moving out. But the first one is the local regulations. Maybe you can add a bit of insight into what that means for people that are looking to deploy in Brazil.
Yes, we have some restrictions about roaming, permanent roaming in Brazil. So you, as a visitor, you are not allowed to be more than 90 days using the roaming agreements in Brazil. For the people, it's okay because the tourists come here and just stay for 30 days at least. But for IoT, of course, we are facing some equipments that spend 1 year or more in Brazil from outside the country. So make no sense to using the roaming agreements with this restriction of regulation. That's the first offensive to the global market. So the global providers, they are not coming here because this restriction for sure. Not only this, but we also have a very, very complexity in taxation. So, for example, we in the last 2 years we have no taxation in IoT connectivity. But again, when you say IoT connectivity, is a very wide concept in Brazil. For example, we have a distinction between IoT, pure IoT, and IoT with some kind of intervenient of the user. For example, for the payment machines that we understand and the world understand that is a IoT device. That's okay. So when you pay with your credit card in some establishment, you are using the credit card in some payment machine. So that payment machine is connected using the SIM card and to the cloud, and you can finish your transaction. But in Brazil, as the user must input the number or the value of the buying, the Brazil agent, they understand that's not an IoT device. It's a mobile device. So we have to pay the FISTEL. FISTEL is a tax in Brazil, very expensive. Just imagine you spend less than $1 monthly in this connectivity, but you have to pay $5 in the first year of this tax and $3 yearly, just about the taxation, just about the FISTEL. I not talk about ICMS, ISS, and a lot of taxation that you have in Brazil. So it's very complicated scenario about taxation. So that's the reason to have an agreement with a local company makes sense to explore these markets. Also, when we have one more, not about the regulation, but for example, we are very aggressive talk about the price. So in Brazil, when you see the 4 million connections using the IoT, the drive today is the price. It's on the price. So we are trying to change this mindset to explore new ways of delivering some new services.
Excellent. Yeah, this is probably the number one thing that as I've worked with customers over the last decade coming into Brazil, understanding permanent roaming, taxation there, and then the data privacy is also important because you need to have local infrastructure there that we have together. So very good. Thank you. The other piece that I'll tell you, visiting Brazil is the one that really came clear to me is just the need for technology considerations given the expansive geography. You have very densely populated areas, but Brazil is literally a massive country. And I know it's difficult to cover every region, every geo there because of how big property it is. But also the thing that I've seen in the past is the fact that you need to have multiple carriers because of that. And then also just the local integrators that you need. And the other piece there that you mentioned is like when we look at that piece there, how do mobile private networks come into play now? When we look at non-terrestrial networks there, how are those things come into play when we look at technology considerations?
Yes, we have a big country here. So just to let you know, today we have only 17% of the surface of the country with public coverage from the MNOs, from the mobile connectivity. So we have a lot of thing to do here. And of course, there is some obligations of these companies considering the regulation. So they must cover the people, not the devices. So that's the obligation of the companies, the mobile operators. So considering this, of course, they focus on cities, on households. So that's the reason we have only 17% of the country with public coverage of mobile operators in Brazil. The solution, of course, is to extend this coverage to some areas. But of course, when you see the fields, when you see the agriculture business, it's very difficult to make profit using public networks because you are using big radios, macro cells. So it's very difficult. The solution that we're facing right now in Brazil is to deploy some mobile private networks. Every single unity from farm, when you see, for example, we have some very interesting projects. The people are asking for, okay, I have a farm here with 15,000 hectares. So please make a cell planning for me. And okay, just give me the circle and KMZ, and I will do the cell planning. It's not like this. It's very not polygon. It's a lot of polygons, not union. So it's very difficult to make mobile private networks for one farm only. So mobile private networks in Brazil, it's very difficult deployment for about this. So we are trying to approach some associations to make some regional mobile private networks. So that's one of solutions. Integrators, for sure, that's a challenge in Brazil. We have the MNOs, we have the MVNOs with SMP licenses, but also we need some integrators to deploy not only the radio access network for mobile private networks, but also the endpoints that make sense to that specific industry or farm. And there is no integration about that in Brazil. We have the big names of integration, of course, in Brazil to the big farms, the big producers, but when you go install one or two layers, there is no integrators at all, not in the fields. You can see the integrators in the cities, but again, still not seeing the whole picture. So we for sure have this lack of integrators in Brazil. And the final point about this is we have a small number of mobile operators. So if you see the scenario of Brazil, we have only 3 MNOs. I mean, nationwide MNOs. Now we have some new players because we have the 5G auction on the end of 2021, but it's still being the regional MNOs. So they are still deployment the 5G. The 5G, of course, is great, but for IoT, is not the main network. 4G solves a lot. I mean, 99% of the demands of IoT. So 5G is not the request for IoT scenario right now in Brazil. We need 4G players.
Good. I think for the last one here, I think back to, my first foray into business there in Brazil, and I was really fortunate to get a local partner that understood the business culture, understood pricing, that was very connected to the fragmented, but connected to the ecosystem there. And obviously in our case, again, fortunate to have a partner like NLT that's also connected that can help us there. But maybe talk about some of these business challenges and how they impact customers and how you can help them.
For sure, Curtis. First of all, we are very price sensitive country. So, for example, we have a lot of people deploying some 2G devices still. So, considering that we are going from 4G to 5G, to see the companies exploring and buying 2G devices, for me, it's insane. So that's the reason Anatel last week during the FutureCon event that we worked together there, Anatel published a calling to understand how Anatel is the Brazilian telecommunication agents. So the calling is to understand how Anatel can help the ecosystem to shut down the 2G with less problems to the whole ecosystem. Because if we deliver this decision to the ecosystem, we are going to see 2G for a long time in Brazil. So again, considering the ecosystem of IoT in Brazil, 2G is a reality, and we have to understand how can we move from 2G to 4G and even for 5G. Talk about the price. Yes, we still price sensitive as everything in Brazil, and of course, this is a problem to explore new features of IoT. For example, telemetry. We still focus on the basic data to be collected by the endpoints. And if we consume more bandwidth, we could get much more data and to be more accuracy about the IoT behavior in the smart cities and even on the farms. So that's the reason the companies still looking for just 2G or small or narrow bandwidth of connectivity. And when we talk about multi-connectivity, that makes sense all around the world. In Brazil, we still talk about just one radio access network connectivity. So the multi-IMSI possibility is brand new for the country. It's not brand new about the technology, but brand new when we say about the multi-network possibility with radio access network from MNOs, from the carriers of Brazil. So that's a brand new subject to discuss with the clients. But of course, they want to have the best solution paying what they pay today. So that's a challenge here for us to promote all the benefits of the multi-IMSI capability to the IoT ecosystem, not only 2G and just one radio access network, but what you can do with these possibilities. And one more thing about multi-IMSI capability, today we are facing some providers that are offering the multi-IMSI capability, but not for using diversity of a radio access network, but to cover some dead spots of the first carrier. And the problem is the configuration of the multi-IMSI must be customized for every client or at least every vertical. Because when you see a tracking vehicle with a multi-IMSI capability, they cannot be switching the networks every time. You are going to lose the data. The same thing about a stationary device. You can configure it to a multi-IMSI capability to just set the radio access network on the first time. And after that, you can use a failover, but you have to configure a timeout to switch the network, to wait for the behavior of the network. So all these features must be considering in this multi-IMSI capability of product for every single client.
Excellent, excellent, very good, very good. Yeah, there's a lot to unpack there, and I think we could go deeper quite a bit on that. But we'll move on to the keys to success here. And I think we probably covered a lot of this just in the conversation there. But let's start with what I just mentioned is like the expert partnerships and having someone there that understands the market, understands how to scale in the market and some of the challenges there. Maybe you could speak just a little bit to that piece.
For sure. Yes, the first thing that we decided last year is to have a very good partnership with a global player, and we choose floLIVE, of course, because not only about the core solution, but also about the culture of the company. So it's very fitable with NLT. So we are very innovative. So floLIVE as is. So to understand how floLIVE can help us to explore not only Brazilian IoT ecosystem, but also to help us to extend the boundaries of the company and the footprint for Latam and even Africa was amazing process. So to be together with floLIVE team was very enriching for us. And of course, they help us to understand how to explore these markets one layer deep. And after that, we could explore some new markets, for example, to provide connectivity to the module manufacturers, not only to the integrators, not only to the final clients, then the consumers, but why not to explore the module manufacturers to already have IMC available for as a bootstrap, or why not a connectivity main layer. So it was very successful strategy. We already have some very good contracts with some module manufacturers, and they are already deploying in Brazil the module connected using NLT capability through the floLIVE core solution. And the plans to scale, of course, we are donating IMC for floLIVE, but we're also getting IMC from FlowNet. So these allow us to explore new countries. So we already have some good demands in Argentina and Chile and Peru, Colombia, and even Mexico. Of course, I work for some good years in Africa, and we are also seeing some good movements in Africa and good in some countries of the Africa to explore IoT capabilities. And we're going to use, of course, the FlowNet to start the business. And the beauty of the solution is you can go to that country, you can start business in that country immediately using the FlowNet, and after you get some good presence, you can choose a local partner that already integrated your FlowNet. The same thing in Brazil. Just imagine you can enter in Brazil using FlowNet. FlowNet is using IMC from NLT, connectivity from NLT. But if you are going to have a good presence in Brazil, you can even go from FlowNet to a direct capability from NLT. So this open mind is very good to have.
That's great. That's great. Yeah, I think it's so vital to have people that know the market there, and yes, I think the combination of the two companies here, and it really does lend itself to not only helping people deploy locally, but the scale factor there, connecting with the right people in the ecosystem, identifying module manufacturers that have the right support for the technology that you have there. To your point, if people are still deploying 2G, 3G devices there, that actually is a unique find today, to find a module manufacturer that still supports it, but also supports things like NTN that's coming up. So very good. Very good. The next one here is the flexible core infrastructure. And this one, obviously, from a floLIVE perspective, is near and dear to us because we know the power that this gives us, the power to be able to integrate in the same way everywhere in the world and have that single pane of glass that literally gives our customers the same functionality wherever they are. But the also piece that I mentioned, and I'll say this again, the autonomy with the real-time data events and visibility and control to manage their own business, to see what's happening in real time, troubleshoot, control, do all of the things that they need to do in real time. We know that that's extremely important to our global solution there, but maybe speak to like why you see this as an advantage in your market and as you go globally as well.
Yes, it's very important to say that even even considering floLIVE is as a cloud-based core network, you are present in all around the world. And we are very happy to host the instance of floLIVE here in Brazil. So today we have in partnership with floLIVE 4 instances of core network in Brazil, of course, connected in the cloud-based network. So we are today in São Paulo, but we know Brazil is a very big country. So we already talking with some partners to extend this footprint to Brazil as the center of the country, and of course the gateway to the agriculture business, and Fortaleza as well. Fortaleza is a gateway to enter in Brazil. Talk about subsea cables, and of course everybody's there, and why not have a point of presence there? So to have this nationwide footprint and considering 4, even 8 instances of the core network in Brazil connected to the cloud-based solution, it's amazing. It's amazing. It's a very, very safe solution for IoT connectivity. Talk about critical mission. And more than this, we are facing right now some movement from the very light platform of management connectivity to the very complex software of connectivity management. So to have everything assembled in the CMP from floLIVE that are fully integrated with all the APIs from NLT, it's amazing. It's just a new step on this ladder. We are already API oriented, and now we still API oriented, but with a back end very, very strong from floLIVE.
Wonderful, wonderful, good. And maybe just quickly, I know we're getting close to time here, but we'll want to save time for some questions here. But you mentioned this earlier, the coverage component, right? With the 17% of the country covered with cellular there, the different technologies that are available. Maybe just a quick recap of what that means in the country there, and how important it is to have someone that understands what that means locally and how to navigate through that piece of the decision making.
Yes, we are facing right now a very good movement of deployment of mobile private networks in Brazil. Of course, the MNOs, they are extending the coverage for some areas of the country, but they still having the obligations of coverage the people, not the plants of or the things. So we are facing right now more than 200 mobile private networks deployed in Brazil. And we believe that this movement will grow very fast. But you have to consider that the most of these mobile private networks, they are SA, they are standalone. They is not connected to the world. And we are offering in partnership with floLIVE a new kind of business. You can have a mobile private network in any local of the country, and this mobile private network will be connected. Of course, they will have a edge core solution, but they still being connected to the cloud-based core solution that we have in partnership with floLIVE. So we have 2 instances of the core network. And the most important thing, the SIM card or even the eSIM that you're going to use on that area, you can be connected to the mobile private network, or you can still be connected to the public mobile networks. It's available. So just imagine a tractor or a truck, you can go from Macapá, from some rural area from Macapá, and go to the city and still being connected from the mobile private network to the mobile public network. So it's very, very a good statement to do for this kind of market.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you. Thank you. All right. For maybe our last slide here, just talk about the partnership that we have together there, and what strength that's bringing. Again, I think we probably highlighted some of this there, but maybe cover some of these details.
Yes, this figure is very good because you can see all the directions you can choose. Just imagine we have some companies in Brazil. They are exploring a Brazilian market, but they can extend the business to the other countries using our partnership. So now NLT is able to offer connectivity around the world using the global coverage from floLIVE. The same thing, the companies that want to explore the Brazilian market, as we talked before about this huge potential market, can come to Brazil using the FlowNet solution that uses NLT connectivity in Brazil, and of course to understand a little bit more about how the Brazilian market works. And after that, if they want to explore more and more the Brazilian market, they can use the knowledge and the expertise from NLT to be presented to the whole ecosystem.
Excellent. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. With that, we'll transition to some Q&A, and let us know what your questions are.
Wonderful. Thank you
Elisa,
both
I
so very
think you're
Yes, we had a few questions come in, so thank you all so much. Please go ahead if you have any additional questions, submit those at this time. I have one final poll question I'm going to launch for you all. If you would like anyone to contact you directly, please just let us know, and we will reach out and help you with whatever you need there. And while you all are taking a second there, I'll scroll through these good questions that have come through. And we will start the first question with our first question says, what are the technologies you have license agreements with in Brazil? So I think you answered that a little earlier, but if you don't mind doing a quick touch base on that again, and I'll give the poll another second while you answer that. Thank you.
So Lisa, come again, please.
Yes,
Yes.
please.
The question was the technologies. And I think the answer to that was it's basically everything from 2G to 5G. And then in addition to that, you have lower WAN support.
Yes, again, we still have a very, very big number of equipments connected to 2G network. We are trying to fade out these equipments to explain to the companies and to integrators and the clients that not buying any more equipments from 2G technology, to buy only 4G technology. But still, they are still using the 2G. So to consider 2G in Brazil in the next couple of years, it's important. Maybe Anatel, with this calling right now, they will help us to a transition between the 2G scenario of IoT connectivity to a fully 4G scenario for IoT connectivity. Talk about LoRaWAN connectivity. Again, Brazil is a very big country, so to deploy some small area covers, it's very important. And to do this, considering only mobile connectivity is a little bit expensive. So LoRaWAN connectivity is a good way out. You can deploy some LoRaWAN coverage. One to be two more caps. You can use some endpoints, but the data throughput will be very, very low. It's just some small sensors and small devices, and using just one data sending a day. Yeah, so you can have a longevity of the battery for even 10 years. That's good for some applications. But when you realize that an IoT solution is it will be used a lot of different devices, you have to considering the whole spectrum of connectivity radio access network. So to consider not LoRaWAN connectivity, but also mobile networks connectivity is very important, and vice versa. You must considering LP1 or LoRaWAN connectivity for some products for agriculture or even industries, but also try to be adherent to the regulation of the country. Again, the mobile networks, we are very good relation environment, so that's good. They are all licensed, but when you're using some LoRaWAN connectivity, you are facing some open space. It's not a licensed network. It's not a licensed spectrum. So you may face in the crowd areas like cities, you can face some interference with other networks. But of course, if you use in the areas, rural areas or industrial areas, it's a very good network as well.
Great, thank you. So we've had a couple of questions coming in wanting to clarify about the roaming situation. So how the roaming situation is managed in Brazil versus the rest of the world. So I think you both are able to take a moment to shed some additional light on that. Curtis, would you like to start?
Yeah, I mean, I think the main thing is that permanent roaming is, under us for saying past 90 days is not allowed. So it requires a local SIM there. And the SIMs that we provide through NLT are 100% local through a local MNO. So they're permanent roaming safe. And that's a requirement there. If you're going outside of Brazil, I'll answer this. One of these questions came up. If you're going outside of Brazil, we have the same SIM that can have a profile downloaded to support literally any country in the world. So that happens autonomously with our multi-MC technology that Andre mentioned earlier.
Yeah, just to add some comments here. Of course, we have only in the whole world just 6 countries with the restriction of permanent roaming. Brazil, Australia, Turkey, and Singapore, and 2 more countries. But there are more countries coming to this kind of restriction. So IoT connectivity is growing very fast. We saw on the slide that we have today 2.7 billion devices connected through IoT cellular connectivity, going to 5.5 billion devices in the whole world. Just imagine that for roaming purpose for the human beings, that's okay. You are not going to spend more than 90 days in any other country if you are a tourist. But for IoT, it's a big wave coming. It's a lot of equipment, it's a lot of connectivity coming, and we have perception that some countries will try to not facilitate the roaming at all. So maybe this regulation will expand to other countries. So that's the reason the multi-MC capability is the best way to explore IoT in the whole world. And just to finish my sentence here, we are not seeing any kind of changing in the regulation scenario in the next few years. So that's the scenario of Brazil today, and we are not seeing any changing in the couple of years ahead.
That makes sense. All right, we have just a couple minutes left for a few more questions. So we have a question that says, we want to expand our business into Brazil. What areas would you recommend for our company to find immediate success?
Wow, that's easy. So again, if you just consider that 95% of the IoT endpoints in Brazil, they are focused on tracking vehicles and payment machines, that's the 2 verticals that you want to explore if you want to have a very good results in short period of time. But if you are going to invest in a mid-term or long-term, for sure the utilities is the third player, the third vertical that's growing very fast, much faster comparing the tracking vehicles and payment machines. And also, if you are going to invest on a green ocean, like I said before, the agriculture is amazing. It's a lot of opportunity here in Brazil to explore IoT connectivity.
Thank you. All right, Curtis, how about one for you? It says, my company needs both flexibility in our connectivity offerings and also affordability. How do you recommend achieving these 2 objectives?
FlowNet is absolutely the solution for that. Flexibility and what carriers you have access to there, how you set up and configure the platform, manage that, it's all there. Price, very price competitive. I'll say one of the key things is because we own the core network, we're taking that cost from the MNOs that we work with there, and they're able to reduce their cost to us. We can pass that cost reduction on to our customers to provide them with a very cost competitive solution. And then in some cases where the other, there may be like in a particular country where one MNO is more expensive, but you have access to another one, you have that more expensive MNO as a backup. So maybe not your primary, but it's there if you need it. If your solution demands that you have to have that connectivity at the more expensive cost, you may temporarily move to that one and then move back to the lower cost one once you're in the right coverage there.
Great. Okay, we had one additional industry specific question. What's the potential in heavy industries such as cement, steel, or mining in Brazil?
Charlie, I lost you for a couple of seconds. Can you repeat, please?
Oh, I'm sorry. What is the potential in heavy industries such as cement, steel, or mining in Brazil?
Mining is amazing. Mining is amazing. Again, differently from agriculture, we have less companies exploring. Of course, you're comparing 5 million rural properties to the mining or steel. It's not fair. But again, they need connectivity, but they need professional connectivity. So it's not only to deploy a mobile private network and to offer connectivity. They need the whole ecosystem solution. They need the endpoints. They need some mobile private networks to below the ground, and they need more complex solution comparing to the other situations. It's not a blue ocean or a green ocean, but it's still interesting.
Thank you so much. All right, we have our last minute here. We have gotten through a lot of questions. There's still a few that we didn't get to, so we will finish them up after the fact. So thank you all. We'll also be resharing this recording as well. So that'll be coming through your email shortly. Any last thoughts, Andre or Curtis, that you'd like to share?
Well, from my side, what I can say, it's Brazil, it's a big market with huge potential. But my advice is to start operation in Brazil with a local partner. Of course, you can use the FlowNet solution to enter in Brazil in the beginning. And the second step, you can have a local partnership with NLT. And if you'll be comfortable to wide the business in the country, you are more than welcome to have a local operation in Brazil. But again, I'm Brazilian, and the Brazilian taxation, the Brazilian business scenario is not easy to understand. My most difficult point is to explain to the people from other countries how the Brazil works. So my advice is start with FlowNet. The second step, you can use a local partner with NLT, and if you be comfortable, you can open a branch office in Brazil. We're more than welcome.
Yeah, thanks, Henry. I would echo the same thing with an emphasis on a local partner there. This is extremely critical. I've seen dozens of people, companies going into Brazil attempting to do it without partnerships there, and you literally will spend time unnecessarily navigating through all of the nuances of the market, the regulatory piece there. Having a local partner what really helps you get through that in a more efficient way and get you to the point where you are driving revenue for your company. So definitely recommend getting a local partner like our friends at NLT. And certainly the FlowNet solution is the back end for NLT. So the combination of that, I think, is a great success model for you.
Wonderful. Well, I hope you all found this presentation as informative as I did. Thank you again, Andre and Curtis. We appreciate your time and have a great week.
Thank you all.
Thank you all. Bye bye.